Hello, you guys. Happy Sunday and welcome back to another live. I'm so happy that you're here and I'm happy to be back on another live with you. I hope you're doing well. I know we missed a couple lives just because it's summertime and like I told you before, it's busy. It's a busy season. There's a lot of travel. There's a lot of things going on, but I know that you guys love the lives, so I'm trying to come on as often as I can and give you some information to help you during this times and during this shift in energy that we are experiencing. So there's a lot to talk about and let's get started. So what do I want to talk about today? Today, I want to talk to you about how to spot a spiritual professional. And why am I wanting to talk to you about this today? Because I see a lot of professionals or psychics or mediums on the other app, as well as this app, who, are doing free yes and no's and one-off readings and stuff of that nature. And I've engaged with some of these readers. I've kind of tested out what they're doing and to see how well they are actually doing their readings, how much spiritual knowledge they actually have, how are their abilities working. And I think that there's some important tips that I can share with you when you're working with a spiritual professional, or that you can keep in mind when you're engaging with their spiritual professional. Again, these are just my tips to help you. I want you to use your own discernment, like we've talked about. I want you to do your own due diligence and kind of form and come to your own conclusions. But like I said, these tips are going to help you when you are determining who is a spiritual professional, who you should book a reading with, okay? So let's get into these tips. Hi to everybody that joined. If you have any questions, feel free to drop it in the comment box below. If you're watching this live afterwards on Instagram or YouTube, feel free to, again, drop a comment. I'd be happy to answer all comments. Okay, I have this written down, okay? So how can you spot a spiritual professional? The first tip, they have a lengthy process to get a reading with them. That is the first tip. That's how you're going to spot a spiritual professional. I'm going to use myself as an example in all of these, okay? So if you want to book a reading with me, it's quite a lengthy process. It's not as simple as you coming on the live and being like, hey, let's book a reading, or you DMing me and then we're going to jump on a Zoom call or jumping on WhatsApp video or iVideo or whatever you call it, and we're getting into a reading. It's not like that, right? It's you're going to let me know you want a reading, and then I ask you follow-up questions, send me your questions. Then we talk about payment, then we talk about the timeline. So it's a lengthy process. It's not just something that's going to happen right away on the same day. There's a lot of back and forth. And most readers have a lengthy process. Most spiritual professionals have a lengthy process because we are filtering. Right? We do not want to do, or let me not speak for everybody, but let me speak for myself. I do not want to do a reading for everybody. I do not want to do a reading for people who are not serious. I don't want to do a reading for people who will not take the advice. I don't want to do a reading for people who will not take action. I do not want to do a reading for people who want me to sugarcoat things for them. I don't want to do a reading for people who cannot handle the truth. I do not, hi world of watercolors, how are you? I don't want to do a reading for people who are not ready to excel or to get into alignment. I don't want to do a reading for people who are low vibrationals. Therefore, I have a lengthy process to book a reading with me, because I generally, and I'm speaking for a lot of spiritual professionals that I know, we don't want to do a reading with you because you're going to waste our time. What's the point of us doing a reading with you and telling you all the information, and then you sit there and like, well, I don't feel that way and I don't want to hear it and I love him, and energy changes every day. Like, then why did you book a reading? Why did you book a reading? So most of you can't even handle what is coming through with your reading. You can't even process that type of information at that high level to take action in your life. So therefore, that's why the process is lengthy, because we're filtering you to see, are you a good candidate for a reading? Are you someone who's going to actually act and take action on the advice? Or are you just desperate and want to hear the answers that you want to hear, and you want us to sugarcoat it for you, and you want us to give you the timeline and the information that you think you need to feel better about yourself and regulate your nervous system, right? So therefore, that's the first tip. They have a lengthy process. The second tip is most spiritual professionals don't advertise themselves. If they do advertise themselves, it's very minimal. And like I said, I'm the same way, right? I'm not sitting here pushing advertisements to you all the time. Book a reading, book a reading, book a reading, right? You'll very rarely see me do that. Sometimes it's the bottom of the captions. It's the link in bio. If you go click that, I'll mention it on the live. But other than that, I'm not creating ads. I'm not doing sponsorships to push booking a reading. I'm not bombarding you with emails. I'm not in your DMs. I think you need a reading, right? There's none of that going on. It's very minimal. It's up to your discernment. It's up to you to take the action. I'm not trying to actively get you and seek you and pull you into a reading. It is my energy that is drawing you. Hi, Adaba Beachwear. It's my energy that's drawing you into a reading. So again, most spiritual professionals will not advertise themselves. They're not going to be actively saying, book a reading, book a reading, book a reading, come, let's do a free question. They're not doing any of that shit, because we generally don't want to do a reading with you, because I am already reading you and I know who you are and what's going on. And I know how unserious you are. Like I said in the first example, that it's an indication for me that I don't even want you as a client. So that's why these spiritual professionals like myself are not actively going out and cherry picking candidates for a reading, because we don't even want to do it in the first place. You're an energy waster. Why do I want you to waste my time and energy? I'm not getting anything from it. Your money, ooh, right? You're the one that's getting the benefit. So again, it's just not worth it. It's not worth our time. It's not worth our energy. And we know this. So we are already reading you. We're already filtering you. We're already, feeling you out. And we know that we don't want to work with you. So that's what it is. Okay. The next tip for you on how you can spot a spiritual professional is that their prices are high. Yes, this is true. I don't think my prices are relatively high compared to some people that I see. I keep my readings at I think a reasonable price, because that is the lowest midpoint. That is the lowest point that I start at. I try to have services at every level. So again, the readings are the lowest point of entry to me, right? So I mean, is it still in the $100 range? Yes. But anything cheaper than that or lower than that it kind of tells you something, right? It tells you about how much that professional values their services and values their work. So again, I would look at their prices. I've seen people doing readings in the $500 range, $1,000 range. I even know some people doing services $20,000 range, $10,000 range. So again, you have to look at their prices. You have to determine, okay, I see people on the other app doing, 10, 11, right? $11.11 for 5 questions, or $5 for 1 question. What? Why are you wasting your time like that? I would never do something like that, because that is bringing in multiple clients, multiple people who want readings, and it's just not practical, because you as a reader cannot manage that much energy. And I'm not speaking for everybody, but I'm just saying, as a professional myself, that is impossible to do, right? Because you're not giving the people the proper time and the energy that you're supposed to give them for a reading. You're just kind of, running through it really quickly, and it's just not going to be as accurate. And it is overwhelming for a reader, and it does weigh you down, and that's just too much energy coming in. So I would avoid those kind of situations or those kind of readers, because you're not going to get an accurate answer, and you're not going to get their full attention and their full energy, which is what you want as a client booking a reading. Just wash my hair, so wet. So again, their prices are generally going to be high. And if it's not high, then that's an indication for you that this may not be a spiritual professional. This is just me being a sophisticated merchant. You guys know that's my favorite term, but again, pay attention to that, okay? I'm just trying to see if I should adjust the lighting, but I kind of like it, this natural lighting. It's so hot. So hot outside today. Okay, so the last one is, this is a good one. Listen carefully. The devil can only tell you about your past, not your true future, because the devil is a destroyer, not a creator. So this is helpful because, and I feel like this you will understand, because if, and I've seen this a lot where people are saying, okay, psychics are devil worshippers, or psychics are channeling dark energy, or you're speaking to the devil. This is how you're gonna know who you're dealing with as a spiritual professional, okay? If they're only talking about your past and the past mistakes, what you've done in the past, your past energy, and they're focusing on how you need to work through everything that's happened in the past or stuff like that, that's because you are talking about, or you are talking to someone who is channeling dark energy or has to do with dark energy, right? Like they're channeling, I'm not saying they're a devil worshiper, but I'm saying like they're delving in dark energy or the occult or something like that, where they are only focused on your past, which is what the devil is bringing up, right? Because the devil is a destroyer. He's destroyed your past. Your past has, skeletons in your closet, or nothing worked out for you. But if you have a spiritual professional who is focused on the future and who could tell you things that are happening present day and in the future, that is somebody you want to be talking to, because they are channeling the creator, right? The creator is creating your future. The devil will only talk about your past because he's a destroyer. So again, keep that in mind. If your reader is focusing on the present day and what actions you need to do to help you move forward in the future, and they're focused on the outcomes in the future and the benefits to you in the future, then that is somebody who is talking to the light, the creator, or, higher energies, right? That's going to help you create something in the future. You want to stay away typically from readers who are talking about or focus on your past too much, because what are you going to do about the past? You can't do anything about it. You can't go back in the past and change it, but you can move forward from today onwards into your future and change that. So again, try to find readers that are channeling that light energy and that are going to focus on your future. Does that make sense to you guys? Let me know if you have any questions about that. Those are my 4 key tips. Those are going to get you places. Those are going to help you filter this world of spirituality and all of these readers that are now coming out of the light and into the woodworks, right? This is going to help you navigate the playing field. This is going to keep you centered and grounded. This is why I do the lives, because I feel like a lot of you watch the lives and a lot of you are like, oh, yes, what she's saying makes sense. Yes, I'm taking this information and I'm learning and I'm using my discernment and I'm thinking for myself. And you're able to navigate the 3D world along with the spiritual realm a little bit easier, okay? So again, rewatch this. Maybe I'll put these 4 tips in a caption in a post to help you. But again, you want to keep in mind these tips when you are looking for a spiritual professional, or you're going to be able to spot one. Okay, I'm talking kind of fast. Let me slow down. Okay, the next thing I kind of want to talk about is, and I was thinking about this the other day, just randomly. I was like, I feel where you guys are at. I feel like a lot of people in my audience, and maybe this is you watching the live, is that you are not, some of you are beginning your spiritual journey. I know that, but a lot of you are knees deep in it. Some of you are, most of you are in it. Let's just put it that way. Most of you are in it. And I want to give you some practical advice that I think is going to help you and make you feel better, because I know the energy is shifting a lot with the moon cycles that's happening and that everything that's happening here on Earth. But there's just a lot going on, and I know that the energies are kind of heavy, so I kind of want to give you some practical advice and things that I noted in my spiritual journey that I think you'll be able to relate to and will help you. Okay, so what are they? The first one is, just when you think you're done, you're just getting started. Okay. And this is true even for me, even for today. And how did I come to this conclusion? I was actually, and I have mentors too, right, here in spirituality. And I was talking to one of my mentors just this past, one of these evenings this past week. And she said to me something, and I was like, I haven't even delved into that. You know what I mean? She was talking about certain topics with me, and I was telling her, well, I haven't even like gone that deep into that topic. Like, like I thought like I did enough. And she was like, no, you've got to go into that topic more. And I'm like, oh, like there is just so much to unpack on your spiritual journey. Just when you think you've done all the healing or you think you've done all the work, there is just so much more to do. Even at advanced stages, even at my stage where I'm like, okay, I've done it all, I know everything, I'm good to go. There's just so much more. It is so intricate and so complex, and I cannot stress that enough, because you guys do not get it. You do not get how deep and complex it is. And keep in mind, like, I'm a very smart, educated person, very studious, so I'm able to handle like levels of work at that level. But like I studied law, right? So that's like deep levels of like education. But like this is just like on a deeper level. This is beyond that. Okay, this is hard. It is a lot of work, and it keeps going. So that's why I say, just when you think you're done, something else is going to pop up. Just when you think you've healed, something else is going to pop up. Just when you think that you have, you've completed full cycle and like you're in your place of alignment, something else is going to pop up. It is never done. Just when you think it is, something else is going to get started. Okay, so keep that in mind. Do not be so naive to think that you've done all the work and now you are, at the top and you're just the best and you've completed all your spiritual work. I'm not so naive to say something like that, because I know the true reality of things and what's really out there. And I know that a lot of it is like, maybe I'll never get there, right? So you've got to really humble yourself and dial it down a bit and just realize that you're only just getting started. And I think that as difficult that is to hear, I think there is beauty in that. I think that you need to find the beauty in that. And for me, like, I think that's beautiful because I like learning. I don't want to be, sitting here every day doing the same thing. I always constantly want to be learning and experiencing new things and trying new things. And I'm like that, right? That's my nature. So that's why that's the beauty in it for me. But for you, it could be something different, right? Maybe it offers you different perspective. Maybe it helps you understand things differently. Maybe it helps you understand yourself. So again, keep this in mind, and really remember this and try to focus on finding the beauty in that instead of focusing like, oh my God, there's just like another thing that I need to like unpack here. Because sometimes it does really feel like that. Like, here's another thing I have to work with. Like, here's another concept that I have to like, unpack. And it does feel a lot, like, it does feel heavy. But again, if you start to look for the beauty in it, it will make your load lighter, if that makes sense to you. So again, if you guys have any questions, let me know. I hope this is making sense to you. Okay, the second thing is, and this is huge, okay? I hope you guys are listening to this. Just replay this live, okay? Pay attention. People ask me all the time, how do you know you're in alignment? This is the answer. This is how you know you're in alignment. You know you're in alignment when you have the awareness to recognize you're in alignment. You have the level of consciousness to recognize that you're in alignment. So essentially, what am I saying? You will know when you're in alignment because you will be able to realize to yourself, holy shit, I'm in alignment. Okay? And it will hit you like a ton of bricks. It will literally hit you, and you won't realize it until you realize it. And when you, like, this is not going to make sense to you until you're at that point, okay? Keep that in mind, because like it made no sense to me before until I reached that point of alignment and I was like, shit, I'm in alignment, right? So you have to have the level of awareness to recognize that you're in alignment. You have to have that level of consciousness to recognize you're in alignment. That's how you know when you're in alignment. You'll be able to see it. You'll be able to identify the alignment or the realignment that has happened in your life that has led you into alignment. So you'll be able to pinpoint it and map it. So again, that's how you're going to know that you're in alignment. When you're able to recognize it, you have the awareness and you have the level of consciousness, and you're able to sit back and be like, holy shit, I'm in alignment. Like, I can't believe this. Like, things are really falling into place for me. That's how you know you're in alignment, when you're able to recognize you're in alignment. Keep that in mind. Keep that, bookmark this live, and keep that in your head for when you get to that point, okay? Because it will happen, and it will happen naturally. It will happen gradually. So again, keep that in mind. Do not forget that. Okay, the next thing is that you're going to have to take breaks. You're going to have to take breaks on your spiritual journey because you are human, okay? So take breaks. There are many times that I take a lot of breaks. You see it. Like sometimes I'm not on live every week, right? Sometimes I'm on vacation doing very 3D things. Sometimes I am, I don't know, reading a book all week. Or sometimes I am crafting all week, right? You're human. You're going to want to do human things. You're going to want to tap out for a little bit. Your spirituality is not going to go away. It's not going to disappear on you. Your gifts are not going to fade, and like you're not going to be able to regain them. Like none of that is true. You're very human living in a 3D world, and you need to engage with that, right? You can't keep nurturing your spiritual side and neglect your human side, right? You need an equal balance of the two. And I'll give you an example about this. So the example is that like people who are reading a lot of spiritual books, right? They're reading book after book after book after book, or they're reading nonfiction after nonfiction after nonfiction. I was like this. I was constantly reading nonfiction. And then I stopped and I started reading fiction, like these silly rom-coms, right? And it just lightens the load. It just makes life fun and easier and happy. And I'm not saying that it wasn't with the nonfiction, but like you just want to give yourself a break. Have a break to laugh, to smile, to enjoy something, to really just sit with where you're at and be okay with it, okay? Because you are human, and I think that a lot of people forget that when they're on this journey. And you really need to remember that you are just human, and that you need to take breaks to enjoy your humanness, right? And your existence here on earth. So whether that's you, like in my example, you take a break and you just read a non-fiction book, or maybe you go outside or do something, or you just, take a break from all the learning, just something like that. But remember that you are human first, okay? You are human first, and you do exist here in the reality, in this 3D world. So honor that in however you feel called to honor that. You don't need to be constantly engaging in spiritual work, engaging in learning and knowledge seeking and understanding at all times. And I know some people are going to be like, yes, you do, because you're a spiritual being too. Yeah, that's true. But like, you have to have a balance. You can't be in... The goal is to have you exist in both worlds at the same time, not picking one day and then picking another world the other day. The goal is for you to coexist as a human and spirituality. So that's why I'm saying give yourself some breaks so that you can try to come back into balance between the two. Because I guarantee you, when you're on the spiritual journey, you're going to be obsessed with learning about it and figuring things out, that you're going to neglect your human side a lot. And what you're going to realize is that time is going to pass you by. Time in the 3D world is going to pass you by really quickly. And this happened to me, right? Time was passing me by and I didn't even notice. And I don't want that to happen to you, because you will miss important milestones. You will miss important experiences. and you might miss important like events, right? So again, take a break if you have to. You are human. Okay, let me know if that makes any sense to you guys. Okay, what's the next one? The next one is that I feel like these are just so loaded. Okay, the next one is that it's never what you think. Okay, should I put on a light? Let me see if I put on a light. What's gonna happen? Okay, let's keep that light on. Okay, it's never what you think. And what do I mean by that? You will think that you have it all figured out. You will think that you understand a concept. You will think that you understand the people around you. You will think that you have reached enlightenment or you understand everything, okay? I'm going to tell you this. It's never what you think. It's never what you're thinking. It's just not. There's more behind it. There's more to it. And it's never really going to be what you're thinking it's going to be, okay? That's just the way the universe works. That's just the way that this larger being and entity works. They know more than you. They're more advanced than you. And it's never what you think. And I know you're probably listening to this and you're like, what the hell? Like, what do you even mean by that? Like, is everything that what I'm saying wrong? Is everything that you're learning wrong and everything that you're thinking wrong? No, it's not wrong, because what you don't want to do is to minimize your experiences, but the conclusions that you've drawn and the understandings that you have during some stages is never what you think, okay? And you're going to think a lot of things are right, and you're right a lot of the times, but it's really never what you think. And you're not really going to understand this until a later point in the journey, I feel like. And then you're going to be like, yeah, she was right. It's never really what I think. That's all I can say about it. Maybe I can explain it better another time, but I think some of you will get it. Okay, the next thing I want to say is that all you really need is just you and the universe. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, no, you need friends and you need family, and you really don't, okay? And I know this because my life shifted completely, right? A lot of you know me from before, or I've shared before with you, like I was a big partier. I had so many friends, like I couldn't even count to you or tell you how many friends I had. I was always going out. I was so social, and that's completely shifted, right? Not that I'm a hermit, but like I had to cut off a lot of people, and I had to change a lot of aspects of my life. And I want you to kind of, and I'm going to say this, and I know it's going to trigger some of you, but I kind of want you to toy with this idea and this concept of what I'm going to say. And I know it's not new to a lot of you because you've probably heard it before. But during this journey, I kind of need you to decenter your friends, your family, your man, your woman, whoever. Decenter everybody. Like literally, if somebody had told me this in the beginning and told me, yo, decenter everybody, I would have been like, that would have made a whole lot of difference. That would have made things a lot easier. That would have made things a lot lighter. That would have reduced a lot of stress and anxiety. That would have regulated my entire nervous system a lot quicker. Decenter everybody. Leave your damn family behind. Decenter your man. You know who you should center? Instead of focusing on all these other people, center yourself. Center on the universe, creator, God, whatever you want to talk about it. That's it. It's just you and him, you and the universe, and that's it. See, two people, me and this pink pen who is the universe, creator, whatever you want to call it. That's it. Decenter everybody else, because you will not. At some point, I'm just thinking about my words here and my word choice, because I want to make sure it's accurate for you, and I want to make sure that you guys don't misinterpret what I'm saying. At some point, you won't even need them. at some point you don't even need them. Okay? So the quicker you decenter all of these external people from your reality and really have a strong center within yourself and with the universe of the creator, the more beneficial it is to you. Okay? And I know people are going to be like, I love my family, I love my man. Okay, you can. I'm not saying get them out of your life or like kick them to the curb or whatever. I'm just saying the center focus should always remain on you and the creator at your heart center. That's it, right? Because I guarantee you that something will happen while you're on this journey where you're going to realize a lot of stuff about these people, or you're going to realize, you don't even need them. And some people act on that, right? So again, that's why I'm saying all you really need is just you and the universe, okay? That's all I'm going to say about that. The last thing I want to say is that you really need to give yourself some grace. And I know a lot of you are probably not doing that. And I never really did that for a long time. I was like, I just need to keep going, and I need to keep learning, and I need to do this, and I need to do that, and reach the next goal. And you will experience some burnout. You will experience some depression. You may experience some stress. And I just want to say that you should give yourself some grace and acknowledge that you have come this far. You have made it this far. You know a lot more than the average person. You have a lot more things going for you than the average person. You are putting in the work for yourself, for a brighter future for yourself and future generations to come. You are breaking curses in your generational bloodline. You are healing. You don't know the effects of all of these things in the future yet, but you need to give yourself some grace. So what are some examples of giving yourself some grace? Have a drink, have a sweet treat, go outside, buy a new book, buy a new article of clothing. I don't know. This is literally on my desk right now. Look, what am I doing? I bought clay because I'm going to start, making stuff with clay. I bought oil pastels, and this wasn't even part of my life to show you these things. They're literally just beside me. I bought oil pastels so I can start creating, and I bought like the little tools for the clay. Give yourself some grace. Do something fun for yourself. Take a moment to acknowledge how far you've come, right? Enjoy yourself. That's part of giving yourself some grace. Do not constantly apply the brakes. Not the brakes. Yeah, do not constantly apply pressure to the gas. Hit the brakes and give yourself some grace. Give yourself a moment to breathe, to enjoy life, and to take time for yourself. I think those are important tips for you while you're on this journey. I think they're going to help you immensely if you take action on what I'm saying, and if you really think about them deeply. I will put them in the captions so that you could read it. But again, let me know if you have any questions. I am happy to answer them, and I love you. If you want to book an energy reading, you know what to do. Send me a DM, send me an email, and we'll get started. I am live every Sunday, usually at 2 o'clock on Instagram. You can find me on TikTok, YouTube. Sign up for our free link in bio Sovereign Circle channel. I post predictions in there. I post a lot of other information. Sometimes I share resources. You can also join our newsletter and email list. And yeah, I love you, and I'll see you next week. Bye.